So it's finally here, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 122, the penultimate issue, the finale before the big grand finale, and once again this was another fantastic issue. Melissa is killing it like always, and next week is the big grand finale of the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger comic books, the end of the Boom Studios universe as they've been calling it, but I am curious to see how things are going to end after this week's issue, because we've got this issue, 122, and then next week we've got the Darkest Hour finale. And I am getting curiouser and curiouser to see how Melissa is going to end this series, because, like I said, this was a wild issue, and I freaking loved it, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go next moving forward. And with that said, let's talk about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 122. So last month's issue, you had Billy destroying one of the power eggs because he viewed this as the best option with everything going on right now, and he thought that there was no beating Dark Specter. Dark Specter had already won, so Billy's goal, or Billy's resolve, was to destroy one of the power eggs, and that would cause another splinter within the Morphin Grid, much like what Draken did all those years ago in Shattered Grid. So Billy's plan doesn't go exactly well as planned once again, and he's pulled into a pocket dimension by Zordon, and the two have a little bit of a one-on-one talk. And Zordon has questions. It's like, you betrayed us, and Billy's like, no, I didn't. I thought this would be for the best for everyone. Dark Specter's winning. I viewed this as the best choice done. And Zordon here, Zordon goes for an array of different emotions, because what Zordon tells Billy by saying, hey, you probably messed up our chances of winning and we might be more fucked than usual. And we get this page where we have this montage of panels of what's going on outside of the pocket dimension. You've got Ranger Slayer and the Solar Ranger fighting. I'll touch on that in a bit. You've got Tommy meditating with Adam, Rocky, and Matt. Kendall and the Phantom Ranger are trying to fix the situation, and Lord Zed is staring at the Zeo Crystal. I don't think he's going to grab it. I mean, he tried that all those years ago and it didn't work out well to him, so I'm guessing he's staring at it as his last resolve trying to defeat Dark Specter, maybe, possibly. I think if Lord Zed grabs that, he's just going to get burnt to a crisp even more. So, you know when your parents say, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed in you? That's what we've got here with Zordon and Billy, because Zordon is disappointed in Billy's actions here, because Zordon says, hey, why didn't you consult me on this idea? And Billy's like, well, I didn't, because you'd probably say no, so I went through it anyway. And Zordon apologizes to Billy, saying, I'm sorry I failed you because I treated you like a soldier when actually you're a teenager. And Billy thinks he can fix this because he's a ranger. He's like, I'm a Power Ranger, I can fix this. But Zordon tells Billy, saying, hey, I know you're smart, you're like good at a lot of things, but acts like these destroy the best of men, and I hope you can live with the actions or the choices you've made right now today, because with what you've done, you might have screwed us all, so hopefully you can live with that on your conscience. And again, some another fantastic writing from the comics with Zordon here, because the comics have expanded Zordon to be more than a floating head in the tube. We've got to learn about his past, his backstory within the comics' 8-year run, and we've sort of felt for him as he's sort of delivered these speeches. But Zordon delivering that whole line saying, I've treated you like soldiers and not teenagers, I get where they're coming at. I don't want to dive too deep into that whole like creepypasta theory where Power Rangers are being trained as soldiers to fight in war. You could say yes, there's sort of like a bit more leverage to that creepypasta theory, but Zordon did recruit a bunch of teenagers to help him sort of end this war against evil that he's been fighting for thousands of years. But I don't know, I'd have to probably go back and reread a couple of issues again for like the 20th, 50th time to see, is Zordon actually treating them like soldiers more than teenagers? It's a bit of a hard debate, you could say, but I do like that line that Zordon had in there. So you know how all the way back in issue 120 where you had the Solar Ranger looking down at Ranger Slayer Kim and we had no idea where that cliffhanger was going? Well, this issue we finally get an answer, and apparently Ranger Slayer was like locked in a holding cell because Ari didn't trust her with her just randomly showing up and thought that she might turn on him like all the other Rangers, so they got locked up in confinement just to be safe, which is kind of weird. I mean, she didn't show up corrupt or anything like that, she just kind of probably showed up out of the blue. Maybe there was some conversation being had where Ranger Slayer needed to go to the Splintered Star Planet with the Zeo Crystal, with everything going on, but yeah, the two of them get into a bit of a fight, and it's a pretty cool fight, I will say that. But Ari is able to get the upper hand in the fight as she's able to knock Ranger Slayer Kim out of her morph state, and Ranger Slayer Kim, being the badass that she is, gets knocked down, gets back up again, because she didn't hear no bell. But the fight is soon brought to a stop as the small child called Sauda, that Ari and Remy adopted, runs onto the battlefield. I say battlefield, but they're like fighting on the base that they're at. But the kid's ball rolls by Kim's feet and she politely asks for it back. So that brings the fight to a close. So Kim and Ari have this chat to each other where Ari is upset that she's lost almost everything and everyone and is scared she's going to lose everything and everyone in the situation because with this whole Dark Specter thing going on, she's lost some of the closest people she's had. But Kim reassures her that she'll save everyone, and if she can be freed from the corruption, then it's a sign that Remy can be freed from the corruption as well. So Billy is brought back to the others, and Kendall lays the frickin' sass on him because Billy thinks what he did here was right and thinks that Kendall will eventually understand him. And I freaking love Kendall's response here by going, God, I forgot how young you are. And reading that line, I could hear that delivery in Kendall's actress's voice. But seeing how Billy was brought in to the others, like they detained him, they put some cuffs on him, what the heck happened to Coinless, Trini, and Kia? Were they arrested or detained as well, or did they escape and go somewhere? Because you saw them sort of being caught in that explosion earlier in the last issue, and they were sort of being pushed forward or blown away from it. But did they get captured as well, or did they make an escape for it? No idea at this point, but I do wonder where the heck they are right now. Maybe we'll find out next month in the big grand finale, but it makes me wonder what the heck happened to them. Like, they're probably off having their own little adventures somewhere. But Kendall explains to Billy by saying because they're using the remaining power reg and trying to fix the connection, when they go to reactivate the arch, the barrier will go down, meaning that Earth will be defenseless. So, like I said, Billy's kind of fucked the whole situation here when he destroyed one of the power reg. I mean, it was already unstable when Kia tried taking one of them, but now, because Billy destroyed one of them, it's sort of running on limited energy here, and when they have to sort of do a soft reset of the arch, well, it's not going to look good for our heroes because they won't be able to morph because of the infection that's growing. So after that, they then cut to the park where more training exercises are happening, and you have this one scene that I really freaking loved where Bulk thinks he has a chance with Taylor, and Skull is like really freaking sarcastic to him by saying, yeah, she's like an Air Force pilot, a Power Ranger, and you're some high school kid. You got this, fam. Which Bulk thinks that he's got a chance at like rizzing up Taylor and probably dating her, which is kind of funny. But I also do like Skull's response where he's like, yeah, I prefer them to be blue, like referring to Candace, where she was an alien from Eltar, which I freaking love this one panel. It was some really fun banter, some really fun character interactions, and a lot of fun. Like, I feel like the writing for that one scene was like a lot of fun. I really got a kick out of it. Now, this next page is freaking heartbreaking. So you've got Zach and Trini training there as well, and they're flirting with each other. It's really cute, really wholesome. I love how Melissa has handled this couple in the comics. But while they're training, you've got Jason watching. And while Jason's watching, he's zoning out, and Taylor's trying to talk to him, and you can see this look of sadness on his face. And it took me a couple of reads until it actually hit me. And when it did hit me, I was like, holy shit. He might actually still have feelings for Trini right now. And right now, he's watching his best friend hook up with her, which there's so many ways you can look at this, like, because Trini and Jason broke up in Go-Go Power Rangers because they were worried that it might be something that the enemy could use against him, but then it also makes you wonder, did Jason think that if he never lost his powers, stayed on the team, he might have had a second shot? But But then again, I've got to bring it back to my first point. The dude is literally seeing his best friend hook up with his ex who was also his best friend, and 90% chance, I bet you they fucked. Now, speaking of getting fucked, the next few pages is where the action starts. You have Angel, Chloe's dad, invade Earth, and he's brought a couple of friends, Psycho Yellow, Psycho Blue, Shelby, Tyler, Alyssa, and Danny. Now, seeing how on the hero's side they've got Kendall and Taylor, I can see these 4 Rangers getting purified and probably becoming Rangers once again and joining the side of good. But I'm also confused why the Psychos had to get corrupted. I know they can morph, we've seen that in the other comics, depending on where you stand, where the continuity is for the Psychopath. But I'm a little bit confused why they had to get brought under Dark Specter's control. I know they can be wild cards and I know they can be a little bit unpredictable sometimes, and seeing how they had the opportunity to kill Rangers, I'm sure they would have signed up for this without a second doubt. But like I said, they are very wild, they are very unpredictable, so Dark Specter thought, better keep them in line somehow in case they mess up my plan, so that's probably why he's got them under the corruption. But things aren't looking good for our hero. They're outnumbered, there's more evil Rangers than good Rangers, but with perfect timing and with an amazing dramatic entrance on a 2-page spread, the Hyperforce Rangers show up, and it's good to see them again, because a lot of people were worried, including myself, where they were, because the last time we saw them, they were sort of traveling the multiverse to get more allies, and then after that we didn't see them for the longest time, so it worried me that maybe they were intercepted by Dark Specter and his forces, but no, they are here and they have allies from across the multiverse, because they brought along with them Dino Thunder White, Dino Thunder Black, Beast Morphers Gold, Beast Morphers Yellow, the Blue Centurion, Zeo Gold, Time Force Blue, Lost Galaxy Pink, the Magna Defender, RPM Silver, and I think that's possibly RPM Gold in the back there. But this is like a fantastic lineup of allies that they brought with them. Again, I am crossing my fingers and crossing my toes we get like an old man Tommy interacting with like a young Tommy here. And we're also going to have Zeo Gold here, which is probably Trey. I don't think it's going to be Jason. No idea. I think people are hoping we see Jason Zeo Gold interact with his young self, but that might kind of spoil things to come later down the line with what Jason will see his fate being in the nearby future. But overall, this is like a solid lineup. The only one I question here is maybe Time Force Blue, because why did you grab Lucas out of all people? I mean, you couldn't grab Jen, your mentor, you're like the mentor for the Hyperforce Rangers, who sort of helped them become Rangers. They couldn't grab Jen for like 2 seconds in that universe. I don't know. I guess that's fine. But I would have picked Jen for sure, because, you know, Jen was such an iconic character in Shattered Grid. It'd be cool to see her jumping back into the action again. But like I said, this is a pretty solid lineup, and I'm hoping, I don't want to get my hopes up too much because we've only got one more issue left, but I'm hoping that we see like freaking Tommy, like White Ranger Tommy interact with like Dino Thunder Black Tommy. That'd be really great to see. Like, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes up too much with having like character interactions like that, but it'd be cool to see. I hope we get it. And just when you think this fight couldn't get even more insane, Lord Zed shows up with his Megazord and starts battling it out with the Vile ship. And the whole reason why Zordon formed an alliance with him is because Serpentera is the only Zord that can chase away the Space Skull out of the sky. But Torona thinks that this is probably a bad idea, because once the battle's over, Lord Zed could probably turn that Zord on the Earth and blow it up. Like, Serpentera can destroy planets, so that's kind of got them fucked over if Lord Zed decides to switch his alliances really quickly once Dark Specter is gone. But Billy has some knowledge that Grace modified Serpentera with some lockout codes, which surprises Torona. Now, the issue ends on a really interesting note. You have Rangersley narrating how Rangers can't do this alone and they're stronger together and how they'll never lose hope. And we get this montage of panels, and one of the ones we get is Billy looking at the memorial for Grace and the other Rangers from 1969. And as he's staring at the Grace panel or the photo, he has this surprised look on his face, which, no idea what's going on there. I'm guessing he might have figured out something, or Grace might have left some kind of clue for him. Not entirely sure. But the issue ends with Ari floating in space and a light emits from her, ending Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 122, where the issue will conclude in the Darkest Hour finale. Alright, so that was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue 122. Like I said at the start of the video, another fantastic issue done by Melissa and everyone else involved. What are your thoughts on this month's issue? Tell me in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, your theories, your speculations with how the finale is going to turn out. But also don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and share this video around on social media. Helps me out a lot, helps out the channel, helps people discover this video and this kind of content more often. But with that said, I'm going to bring this video to a close, and I will see you guys next week on July 31st for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Darkest Hour finale, which will be the end of the comic book series as it comes to a close. With that said, peace out, take care, and bye.